Making a special order application. Starting a special order application is the same as any other movement. Just select the start button and then we'll create a vehicle. Choosing the first component, we'll go for a ballast tractor, to which Esdal has added the drawbar trailer, but let's suppose we want to instead make that a girder set. Then Esdal will add another tractor to bring up the rear. We're happy with that, so we'll click to confirm and continue. Now we need to enter in all the required fields. So let's give a name. The heaviest component weight is typically going to be the weight of the load and the carrying vehicles. So let's make that. Whereas the gross train weight is the entire weight, including the tractors. Overall length is total length of both tractors and the trailer with its load. So let's say, and rigid length, this is typically going to be just the length of the load and the carrying vehicle. So let's say that's 41 meters. Overall width 5, max height 5. The number of axles, so we need the axles for each component. So the number of axles for the front tractor will have 4, for the tractor bringing up the rear also 4, and we'll say 16 carrying the load. The heaviest axle weight is also a required field, but because we're entering all the axle details anyway, we can leave that till last. Vehicle registration, we're not quite sure, will have to be confirmed. Now to enter details of the front tractor. So and for the axle details, now because this is a special order, we also need the tyre sizes and the tyre centre spacings. Let's have the second axle same as the first, but with a different axle spacing. Then for the third and fourth axles, and because we've got 4 wheels on this, we now need 3 tyre centre spacings. And we'll copy the third to make the fourth, but we'll update the distance to the next axle. Right, so that's the front tractor. Now for the girder set itself. So we had to do 9 to 100 as the weight, height 5 meters, ground clearance, let's say, that's pretty low. Length we went 41, and the width 5 meters, and outside track we'll say is also 5 meters. Then let's give this 8 wheels per axle, and for an axle weight, distance to the next axle, tyre sizes, and then because we've got 8 wheels, we need 7 tyre centre spacings. I'm sure you'll know better than me what they all are. Still type that one in if you want to see it. Just move it across, see the full lot, and because we're going to have all these axles the same, we can just copy all and it copies everything down. So the only thing we'd need to change then would be for the middle axle. So axle 8 will give it a longer space into the next. Right, so that's that one finished, and we'll just make the second tractor the same. Actually, last axle spacing is going to be different as well. Correct that, and back to the last tractor, which we'll just make as a copy of the first. All these things to remember and forget. And copy over for the last axle. So that's all the axle details in, and the heaviest axle weight has been filled in itself, taking the heaviest axle from the girder set. So we're happy with all that. Let's see if it'll save. Yep, that's fine. So we can accept and continue. Now let's give it a reference, perhaps a reference of what's been moved. And we'll give them a couple of months to process our request. And let's say we're going from and this is an application we're making. We'll confirm and continue. Now for the route. Now we know that the postcode for Cwmwich Wharf is TA5 2ST. So that has given us the correct address. Actually, let's make this a full screen map. That might be the correct address, but it's not really in the correct location. So we can take this address out and instead use a postcode closer to the point where the route actually joins the main road, and pick an address from that. And then if we zoom out, yep, okay, that's in the correct place. So we're delivering to Hinkley-C. So I know that the postcode there is TA5 1UF. However, this address, this postcode does not yet have its correct address assigned to it. So we'll ignore those and instead use the address for power station, for the B power station. And if we zoom in over, we can then move the flag to where we want it to be by that roundabout. And we'll just ignore the addresses which have been given and instead just click plan. And that gives us the route which we can save, and when we come to save it, it's now that we can actually make changes or correct the addresses. So we'll call it so the start address we need to change to the actual address, and also for the end address give it the value of the C power station. So we're happy and we save it. Okay, right, let's pop out a full screen and continue to the next page where we need to add our supplementary information. Well, it's not going to be a long route, it's going to be about 8 miles. Everything else is just fill in whichever is required, but we'll just leave it at that for now. Save that, and it's happy. Confirm and continue. let's say we're going to make 12 movements, and it's a vessel which is 160 tons. And once we have filled in all the information we need, we can then apply for a special order. That gives us our reference number, and we're done.